So in our previous video, we were looking at the decision about should you go global. So we were looking at the benefits in terms of expanding markets. We were looking at access to resources and cutting costs. And we were looking at the benefits of moving to particular locations because that's where the clients are, that's where the least amount of trade barriers are, or we associate that particular location with some aspect of our brand image. What we want to look at now is that if you choose to go global, what are your options? So we could have a global corporation. This is an international company that centralizes the management and other decisions in the home country. So our world market, we're going to see as a whole, and this is our whole customer base, but we're really managing it and operating it from our home country. So then we're going to focus on efficiency, and we're going to focus on control in terms of measuring how well that performance is in all of those locations around the world. This is different from a transnational organization. So a transnational organization, or a TNC, is an international company, but it doesn't see itself as being located in any particular location. So rather than having that centralized decision-making in the home country, it has expanded and decentralized its decision-making to all different areas across the world. So there's just artificial geographic barriers that are essentially eliminated. The country of origin is irrelevant, and it's really focused on effectiveness. So we're choosing our locations based on timeliness. We are focusing on efficiency, so cost reduction and quality improvement. So if you're deciding what is your global strategy, there are 4 types: global, transnational, international, and multinational. And it really comes down to how much pressure is there for local responsiveness. So how much do you need to adjust what you are doing for the local market's tastes and preferences? So if we look at food, for example, McDonald's can't sell the same products in every country. Certain countries may not eat beef, for example. So we need to tailor the product line to the customers in that particular area. If we are selling items to Thai or Chinese individuals, then they're expecting a lot more spice in their food. Got to make it a lot hotter. So here there's a pressure for local responsiveness. It's high. We're offering a different product to a different market. A low pressure for local responsiveness would be where we provide the same product to everyone. And then we look at the pressure for global integration. Are we going to manage it in terms of we are looking at expansion and we are controlling it from our single location, so we're expanding out into lots of markets? Or is the pressure for global integration low, so we're just going to choose a couple of different foreign markets to expand in? So if we have low pressure for local responsiveness, and we have that pursuit of global domination, we want to get in lots of markets everywhere, then we are more of a global organization. So we're going to operate, and as we said before, right, that global corporation, we're going to have centralized management and decisions done in the home country. And then we're simply going to sell to markets around the world. If we have a low pressure for local responsiveness, and there's a low pressure for global integration, so we really don't have that pressure to expand, as I say, in global domination, in terms of being in lots of different countries. Then instead, we're just going to be an international organization, so it's going to be managed from our home country, and we are going to have a couple of foreign markets that we sell to, probably because they are similar to our home country. So if we think about companies in Canada that have suppliers in the US, they might have another market in the US, then they're an international organization or company. There's no desire then to move even further outside of say, North America. If you have a high pressure for local responsiveness, but you are not looking to expand into more than just a couple countries, then you are a multinational organization. So you have several subsidiaries operated as standalone businesses. If the pressure for local responsiveness is high, so you need to provide those unique products in each different location, and the pressure for global integration is high, so you're looking to move into lots of markets, then you're going to be more of a transnational organization. So you can have specialized facilities that are going to allow for that local responsiveness, but you're going to do a lot of the coordination across all the different locations. And so we talked about a transnational organization, which is where those artificial geographical barriers are eliminated. We don't see our company as being from any particular country, and we have decentralized decision-making across. So you can look at, in terms of your global strategy, are you more of a global organization, a transnational organization, an international organization, or a multinational organization? So we can think about companies, for example, like Tim Hortons. They're currently located in about 15 different countries. And we can ask ourselves, does Tim Hortons provide the same products in all those different regions? And so there's a Tim Hortons in the Philippines, there's Tim Hortons in Canada and in the US. The Canadian and the US ones are similar, but the Philippine markets and the ones that are in the Middle East have quite different in terms of the foods that are available. So the pressure for local responsiveness is high. And then we can look at, in terms of that coordination, how they're managed, and in terms of their expansion. And so we can see whether there's subsidiaries or standalone businesses that are operated in different countries versus more of that complex, coordinated organization. And so Tim Hortons is likely more of that multinational rather than a transnational organization. So you're deciding to go global. A minimum global investment would be your supply chain and having global sourcing of your supply chain. So we purchase materials or we access labor from around the world, wherever it is cheapest. We can then increase the level of investment. It is more risky as we are moving from the left of this graph to the right. And so the next step we might take as an organization beyond that global supply chain is to do exporting and importing. So exporting is where we make products at home and sell them abroad. And importing is where we acquire products that others have made in other countries and we sell them here at home. So in terms of moving to become more and more global, eventually moving to one of these global strategies, we start first with a global supply chain. We then move into imports and exports. The next step is going to be more licensing. So our manufacturer is going to give another organization the right to use its brand name, technology, or product specifications. So here we're getting permission to use the name of another company or product, but we're making it ourselves, and we can tweak it ourselves to be what we want it to be. Alternatively, franchising is where we have bought the rights to sell a product and we're using specific business methods and practices that are standardized. So if you think about when you buy a franchise for something like McDonald's franchise or Tim Hortons franchise, the corporation is telling you in terms of what the products are, and they are also specifying the processes that you follow. And even to the point in terms of setting the layouts of the facilities and so on. So we're moving, as we're going global, we're going from a global supply chain to exports and imports, to licensing someone else's name or image, to franchising, so selling their product using their methods. And then we go into as we go across the graph, into the most significant global investments. And so here we have a strategic alliance. So this would be where we would partner with a company in another country so that we could share resources and expertise. So we might partner with a company that is in another country because they know the laws, they know the economic environment, they know the customs and norms in terms of what is socially acceptable as how a business operates, and and they know the people in terms of what the customers want. And so we're using that expertise to help get our products into other markets. One type of strategic alliance is called a joint venture. So a joint venture is where the partners agree to form a separate or independent organization for some business purpose. So a strategic alliance, both companies have their name on the product. In a joint venture, you'd create a new company that is made up of those two partner companies. So it would have its own name. For example, in Central Alberta, we have ME Global. ME Global is a joint venture of Dow Chemical and the United Arab Emirates government. So what was originally a strategic alliance, so Dow Chemical had a facility outside of Red Deer that made polyethylene polypropylene, so little plastic pellets that become, Tupperware and milk jugs and all those things. They then decided to make it a joint venture and rename it. So they're now called ME Global. So they're forming a separate independent organization that they are both partners in. The final step, when we look at how to go global, from a global supply chain to export and imports, to licensing, to franchising, to a strategic alliance or joint venture if it's going to have a new name. The one that's the most significant global investment is a foreign subsidiary. So this one here is going to be the most risky as you enter into the global market. And this is going to be a direct investment in a foreign country by setting up a separate and independent production facility or office. So we're setting up a part of our company to operate within that organization. So you can see here in terms of moving the amount of manpower and resources into the other country, and the amount of risk that's associated with it increases as we are more involved as opposed to other partners in that process. So a foreign subsidiary is going to be the most risky, is going to require the largest investment because it's us wholesale moving a part of our organization by setting up that new location in that foreign country.